Hey brother! Ben, last week you made some excellent points about how the movie Aladdin doesn't make any sense. But do you know what absolutely did make sense? Robin Williams as the Genie.
Alright! Yo, yo, woo.
Honestly, probably one of the best voice acting casting decisions ever that literally changed the future of animated movies. But did you know that it almost didn't happen? This is that story. Aladdin was the fourth movie in the Disney Renaissance and effectively changed the animated movie genre forever, especially in terms of marketing. Think about every animated movie you've seen in the past 10 years and how it was first presented to you in trailers. What is the one selling point all of them have in common? The voice actors. Jack Black as Poe, Dwayne Johnson as Maui, Justin Timberlake and Anna Kendrick in Trolls, Ellen DeGeneres returns as Dory, and then there's Shrek.
Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, Cameron Diaz, John Lithgow, Shrek.
I swear, I think everyone I knew growing up knew the entire main cast of Shrek because they just beat you over the head with it. It's like, you should go see this movie because it has the voice of this person in it, but does it really matter? Like, quick, off the top of your head, can you name the voice actors for Ariel or Belle? Because if you ask me, Shrek is actually a pretty great movie, whether or not you know who the voice actors are. In fact, I dare say knowing who they are actually is more of a distraction than a feature. Because when I know who the voice actor is, when I see Donkey, I just imagine Eddie Murphy doing the voice, not just believe that it's a talking donkey. But so anyway, what does this have to do with Aladdin? Well, for one, if there's any animated character who may as well have been their voice actor, it's the Genie. I mean, they literally animated the Genie after how Robin Williams acted while recording the voice. But he is significant because this whole idea of marketing a movie behind its voice actors arose from Robin Williams as the Genie. And yet, he actually fought really hard for this not to be the case. See, back in the 90s, Robin Williams was something of a hot commodity. He was just churning out hit after hit. Mork and Mindy, Good Morning Vietnam, Toys, Hook, the list goes on. And because he was so uniquely talented and gave such a distinct performance on stage, Aladdin writers Ron Clements and John Musker wrote the Genie with him in mind. In fact, had he not agreed to do the role, they weren't sure what they were going to do because they were actually uncertain literally anyone else could perform the Genie. Good luck, Will Smith. In fact, in order to sell him on the idea, they actually had the Genie animated doing some of Williams' stand-up routines and showed it to him, and he loved it so much that he agreed to take the part. With a few stipulations.
There are a few provisos, a couple of quid pro quo.
Or should I say, wishes. Wishes is actually a pretty good word because there actually were just 3 stipulations, and I kind of personally find that amazing. First, because he was working on so many other projects at the time and he was positive that an animated Disney movie was going to be super mega successful, he actually wanted to downplay his own role in Aladdin as to not overshadow his other projects. Which meant he actually requested to be paid the union minimum $75,000 for voicing the Genie. This was probably the easiest thing ever to agree to. What? Massive talent is demanding less pay? I think we can swing it. Kind of somewhat unbelievable that possibly the most iconic voice role ever was paid the literal minimum legally allowed. Next, he didn't want there to be merchandise, at all. In fact, his exact quote was, "I'm doing it basically because I want to be a part of the animation tradition. I want something for my children. One deal is, I just don't want to sell anything, as in Burger King, as in toys, as in stuff." But kind of hard to imagine Disney not selling toys and merchandise for one of their films. I mean, those guys will literally turn anything into a toy. I mean, look, I've got Genie and Aladdin wobble beans right here. Beans! Look, they wobble. I mean, obviously, as you can tell just from the beans, they clearly didn't honor this request. But what they did agree to was not to use his voice in any of the Genie toys. And his final request was for the Genie himself not to take up more than 25% of any movie poster, trailer, ad, billboard, what have you.
Phenomenal cosmic powers!
And while some of the posters did this, some of them were definitely towing the line and others just ignored it completely. Yes, this was a real poster used to market the movie. Obviously, though, these wishes were not granted to Williams, which led to him feeling very betrayed by Disney and refusing to work with them and withdrawing his support for the film. And as a result, he just sort of disappeared from everything. He wasn't included in any of the interviews on any of the special releases of the movie. The Art of Aladdin book didn't refer to him at all. He was just constantly called the voice of the genie. And he refused to return to voice the character again for the sequel, The Return of Jafar, or the animated series which aired on Disney. In fact, when he would later receive an honorary award from the Golden Globes for his portrayal of the genie, he gives a hilariously passive-aggressive speech where he calls out Disney executive Jeffrey Katzenberg by name, fails to mention the movie or the character at all, and also actually genuinely thinks his wife. We'll leave a link to it in the description. I highly recommend you check it out. It's very funny. Jeffrey Katzenberg, in case you need refreshing, was the Disney chairman from 1984 to 1994. He actually helped launch the Disney Renaissance and did a lot of good things for Disney, but is also the guy who denied Williams his requests. In fact, the then CEO, Michael Eisner, actually tried to repair this damage with Williams by offering him an original Pablo Picasso painting, which at the time was valued at $1 million, which he refused. Was your plan to bribe someone who was demanding that they be paid less? It wasn't until Katzenberg was forced to resign and his replacement, Joe Roth, made a public apology to Williams that he finally forgave them and actually agreed to come back and re-voice the genie for Aladdin 3, King of Thieves. Which, if you haven't seen, I would totally recommend checking out because it is actually one of the better animated Disney sequels. I mean, it's an extremely goofy movie, but I'd probably give it second place. Honestly, the whole thing just got kind of messy there for a while, and it's hard to know quite who to point the finger at. I mean, Katzenberg is the one who denied him this stuff, but then he also did a lot of good things for Disney, and Eisner tried to repair the damage, but he's the one who didn't promote Katzenberg, and that's why he ended up leaving Disney, and he kind of maybe stole the idea for A Bug's Life, and that's why Ants got made. But then Michael Eisner was also the guy who thought Toy Story 2 didn't count as an original Pixar movie and almost like ended that relationship with them, and then there wouldn't even be Pixar, so it's like, okay, you know what? Kind of going down a bit of rabbit hole there. If you want to see the full stories on those things, I recommend you click on the cards and you can just check those videos out. The point is that in the 90s, Robin Williams was such a big deal and did such a good job of voicing the genie that studios have been turning to big name talent to voice their characters and then market their films ever since. Which is not to say that only big names get films. I mean, Ali'i Cravalho was literally a diamond in the rough discovery, but you can't ignore the fact that her co-star was possibly the most popular person in Hollywood, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
You're welcome.
Ben, my question for you and everyone else is, what do you think? Should big name actors matter when it comes to voicing characters and marketing movies? And who is your favorite voice actor in a Disney movie? Let me know your thoughts in the towel section down below. These socks are amazing! And a special thanks to these patrons who support Super Carlin Brothers on Patreon. Guys, thanks for watching as always. Please remember to give a like on this video if you haven't already, and subscribe so you don't miss any future Disney content from us. If you want to see the true story about A Bug's Life and ants, you can check out this video right here. And if you want to see how Pixar was almost Pixart, you can check out this video right here. But Ben, that's everything I've got for you today, man. I will see you in another life, brother.